We're a few minutes late this morning, and I'm going to make sure that we're good here. We are live. Hey, it's Coach Manny, and I'm excited to be here. We did have some technical issues this morning. I do apologize for those, and I'm excited to be here today because we got a great subject. I know that a lot of you are tired of watching video and Zoom and all those things. But we continue, at least here in Jersey, we've still got a lot of restrictions. So this is still so critical to you. So I want to share with you today a great piece of advice about how to get your work teams back. Because we got to get people back to work. And I realize that in some states we can't go there yet, but there's so much to do before. The question for all of you out there today is, once you get the all clear about the virus, how are you going to move your teams back to physically coming in to work every day? Do you have a plan yet? And what are the issues you're going to have to address in that plan? The key is to prepare for what's next in this, I call it kind of the wild, wild west, right? It is a lot of stuff out there that we're not sure of what's coming next, but let's take a look at some stuff today. And I always like to start with great leaders. You know, great leaders from the past have dealt with crises and have dealt with them very successfully. It's not like we haven't ever had a crisis, right? I mean, if we look back on Abraham Lincoln and the stress of America being ripped apart at that point, how did he deal with that? The stress for a man like Nelson Mandela, who was going to prison for what seemed like forever. How did he deal with that stress? Or even if we go back to the World War II things and Winston Churchill and how to keep England together and how to keep England free. All had to face great stress and all did it successfully. But you know, of course, when we look back, it's always easy, right? Because what is that? They say hindsight is always 20/20. We're in crisis management mode. And I want you to really grab a hold of that and understand we are in crisis management mode. And you need to get your mindset there, and you need to get there so that you too can move forward. And that is not a live dog, that is actually my phone. I gotta apologize for that, so I'm gonna turn that off for right now. So it's a fact of life for your business today. We're in crisis management mode. You put yourself there and you're gonna watch things start to happen. So today, what I want to do is I want to share 5 key items that you should be looking at going forward into the next month. And if you go out to our blog on coachmanny.com and just click on the blog, or just go to coachmanny.com/blog, you will see everything that I'm talking about today is out there in writing if you need some backup. And we will eventually put the video out there as well as the podcast. So today, I just want to share 5 key items that you need to look at as we prepare to go into this crisis and move you through. Number 1, you have to begin to prepare and understand, what is it that I have to do? What are the issues that I'm going to have to look at? We have identified over 35 of these and are working with organizations on a daily basis to develop and implement plans to make it happen. So let me share a few of those with you so you can get a feel for what kind of stuff I'm talking about. Number 1 is those employees who are reluctant to come back. How are you going to handle that? How are you handling it now? There's fear out there. There's all kinds of things going on there. There's child care issues. There's issues with family. How are you going to deal? They're reluctant. And some people are afraid. So you need a plan. How are you going to address that? Number 2, is bringing back employees in waves an option for you as a business? And what do we mean by that? You know, we bring back a few, then we bring back a few more, then we bring back a few more, or the last bunch is everybody. Can you do something like that? Well, you need to look at that, because that may work for your business, and then on the other hand, it may not. Number 3, do you have workers over 55? Now, that's a different category. And are you going to deal with them differently than the workers under 55? And forget the HR and HIPAA and all those other regulations. It's just a known fact with the virus that some people are more susceptible. So just understanding. See, with all the issues, these 35 that we've identified, and we continue to identify more every day, what we keep learning about this is you got to understand them, and you got to have a plan, and then you can move forward. You know, if you have a plan, this will work, and you will get back. Now, will you get back to normal? I'm not sure there's ever going to be a real normal, but let's keep going. Issue number 4, child care. How will your workers make sure they're covered? You know, in New Jersey, we just heard that the schools aren't going back this year, this school year. Pennsylvania, we already knew that. New York City, we already knew that. Some places in the country, that may not be the issue. But without child care, how are you going to bring people back? And it's not just the schools, it's child care altogether. What's the plan? How are you going to handle it? How are you going to address this as an organization? Another issue. You see, all these things are what we are helping companies with. If you need help with some of these, just connect up with us and we'll give you that connection data later. Always go to coachmanny.com and the contact data is there. Number 5, will masks be required? And if they are required, who will supply them? And what is the process? When are you going to have to put the mask on? When are you going to be able to take it off? What are the situations? And you know, just this week we heard a lot more stuff about masks and about rebreathing the air through masks and those kind of things. How are you addressing, or how are you going to address those issues? Again, this becomes a critical item in dealing with this. Number 6, how will you handle personal interaction with employees? And I've been in some of these situations where we're trying to actually help people, and they bring people in, and I've been in environments, and I tell you, it's a little scary out there, the interaction. We have a tendency to back up off people. You know, I love to hug people, and now we're backing off people. And you can't take it personal when someone starts to back up. They may just have some fear. So how's that interaction going to work in groups and one-on-ones and all that? And finally, number 7 in this group is, how will you make sure everything's cleaned up and what needs to be and what's the level? You know, one thing I think makes people much more comfortable is if everything's cleaned to a much higher level than it ever was before, from bathrooms to doorknobs to windowsills, all those things. There's concern. These are just 7. We have a list of 35 of these, and we're looking to put that out, I hope, by the middle of May into some kind of document so you can actually grab a hold of that and start working some of these issues. We're also going to put on a webinar where we're going to teach this stuff. So stay tuned. Everything happens. Every day there's something new. But you get the feel there? That's just 7 of the things that you need to have in your plan as to how you're going to put this together. And we're not done yet, because that was only item number 1. Item number 2 is, we're in a crisis, so you need a crisis intervention team. You need to select some employees, team members in your organization, And it might just be 2 or 3 of you. If you're small, it might be more than that, but don't make it too big, because remember, you got to manage it. So a crisis intervention team. Who, how, when, how does this thing get put together? What has to be done? How do you put the right players together to handle the crisis? Have you looked at this? Have you ever done a crisis intervention team? And it just makes life easier if you put something like this together. Again, it's just another area we're helping companies in. Number 3, and I always like to make this is the single most important item you're going to deal with, which is communications. And why do I say that? Because you have to be able to communicate with your players at home, as they come in, as they don't come in. Your players should be the top of your list, communicating with them. And I did a seminar 2 weeks ago where we were talking to people about how to communicate on a regular basis to their team, to make sure they're doing one-on-ones, they're doing groups, they're doing whatever needs to be done to keep people in a mode where they're okay. Are you regularly connecting with your teams? How are you keeping them aware? How are you keeping them motivated? What news are you sending out to them? Are you asking for help? Are you asking for their input? You know, we came to a conclusion in that seminar we were doing, because it was very interactive and very much getting additional data. And one of the things we learned is people would rather have bad news than no news, because it actually helps the stress if you can give them something. Number 4, what are the notifications? What are the monitoring systems? How do you keep everyone current as to what's going on in your organization now and after? Some of you had to shut down. How are you continuing to keep aware of people and communicate with them? Some of you have people working at home. Some of you have people working inside and at home. How are you defining and making sure everybody understands and gets the information they need? Yeah, it's a lot of work. And I'm going to tell you, it's stressful for a lot of you out there. I know this. So that's why we're here. That's why we're going to try to help you through some of this. And number 5 is you got to build a plan that can be executed to make all this happen much smoother. You need a plan that addresses every one of the issues that we've identified, and you may even have more, because we actually started with about 20, and by the time we got done the first week webinars, we had over 35, and we had a lot more information on every one of them. You need to know what you have to do and when. What are the answers to the question? What are the questions people are asking? You know, a plan makes it happen. And those who have followed me for a long time know that a plan, you got to have a plan, right? And it's got to be a written plan. How many times have I said that over the years? This crisis has put many of us on our toes. Just face it. We're good at what we do, but if we didn't have to deal with a major crisis in the past, we may not understand exactly how to make it happen. You're going to make it through this process. You're going to get your organization back on track. I know you are, because you're leaders. You are great leaders. And we have stumbled through a great deal over the past few weeks, but that has been an amazing learning experience for every one of us, hasn't it? You're ready to do this and do it very well. You got to stay positive, right, with that attitude. Fear is part of the process that makes every one of us stronger. The virus will not stop the great leaders of American business, like every one of you listening to this broadcast. You're coming out on the other side on top. What's the next step for you? How are you going to make this happen in your business? Again, take a look at the blog. There's a lot more information out on the blog and some connection data. If you would like some help, please give us a call. Our direct number is out on the block, and I'm going to give it to you right here. 856-364-5867. 856-364-5867. Look, you're probably going to go to voicemail. It's okay. We will get back to you. Just let us know how to connect with you. And I do apologize for that, but we just can't capture every call right away, and I do apologize. Email-wise, you can reach me at Manny, M-A-N-N-Y, at MannyNowak.com, MannyNowak.com. Manny at MannyNowak.com. Just go out to the CoachManny.com website. You can always find it out there. If you want to meet, you can just email me 3 days and times that you're available, and I'll get back to you and we'll set something up. I want you to stay safe out there. I want you to remember, we have a lot of stuff that we can help you with, but you got to get moving here. So I hope this has been a help. Stay tuned. As soon as we have more information, as soon as we have more resources to help you, we will get them out there. Check Coach Manny's. We have CoachManny.com. Actually, we have a web page out there just for the coronavirus. So we're trying to stay on top of this. Thank you for being here today. I know I feel like I'm running at 100 miles an hour because over the last 2 weeks we have done so much training and helping, and we know it's not slowing down, but we thank you for being here today. And remember that number, 856-364-5867. CoachManny.com. Get a hold of us. We're here. We're helping. And if we can help you, just connect up with us. And thank you for being here today. Have a great day.